Well, one other thing, anxiety, depression, big deal is a big deal. A lot of people are anxious these days.
Yeah.
And once again, it comes back to the microbiome and the gut-brain connection. And if it's hard to impress people that the healthier you eat, the more happy and composed you will be. It's really hard to get that through to people, but that is key.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. In today's episode, I'm joined by the incredible Dr. Robin Miller, founder and medical director of Triune Integrative Medicine. With a background in epidemiology from Johns Hopkins and integrative medicine fellowship under Dr. Andrew Weil, Dr. Miller brings over 25 years of experience blending Eastern and Western practices for whole body healing. We talk about why true wellness goes way beyond just prescriptions. Dr. Miller dives into everything from gut health and hormones to acupuncture and even dance, and how all of it ties into prevention, longevity, and feeling your best. I love this conversation and the way she breaks down personalized care as the future of medicine. If you're navigating chronic symptoms or just want to optimize your health, this one's full of gems you won't want to miss. Hi, Dr. Robin. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to learn about your journey into integrative medicine. I think a lot of my friends, they are familiar with integrative medicine and everybody has some idea about what it is. So maybe we start with really first, talking about what is integrative medicine.
Integrative medicine, I'm sure there are many definitions of it, but my definition is a patient-based approach where the provider, doctor, and patient are a team, and it's focused on healing and prevention, not disease management.
Mhm.
So it's optimizing the patient's ability to heal themselves. And that's integrative medicine. It can use all varieties of different approaches, Eastern, Western, whatever. But basically, that's what it is to me and was to my patients.
Yeah. And I know that you've been practicing integrative medicine for the last 25 years. How did you get into this and how did you transition from conventional into integrative? I'd love to learn more about that.
Well, I started out actually doing research into preventive cardiology. And then when I went into practice, I had a rude awakening. It was 10-minute visits with patients. I couldn't really get into anything. And it was writing prescription after prescription. And finally, one day I said, I can't do this anymore. So I quit. And I did a fellowship with Dr. Andrew Weil in Arizona. And that's when everything shifted. And I decided to set up a practice that was integrative with some help from them, but really kind of found my way.
Mm-hmm.
Where I could actually spend an hour and a half with each new patient, an hour for physicals, and at
Wow.
least a half an hour for follow-ups.
It's amazing.
I found that being able to talk to people really makes a difference. Because
Mm-hmm.
99% of the time, patients will tell you what's wrong with them. But you
Yeah.
have to ask questions and you have to be willing to listen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I think when people think about integrative medicine, they're like, how do I get started? When do people come see you? I remember from my grandmother, that was when I first heard about integrative medicine because she had her team of different doctors and she had cancer. So she had a team of different doctors advising her on different things. And then it wasn't really till the later stage where she was like, I think I need to see an integrative health person to really bring everything together and to think about it from a holistic standpoint.
Well, the key is to find somebody to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And people would search me out when they wanted something different. They'd gotten sick of conventional medicine where they had the 10-minute visits, where they could only bring one or two complaints at a time because it said it on the door when you come in.
Yeah.
And they would get frustrated, and that's how they found me.
Right.
Some were sick, some were healthy and just wanted to stay that way.
That's interesting. So when patients come see you, so for example, like a healthy patient, why do they need to come see you?
Well, I mean, it's taking responsibility for their own health. And some of them have like family histories that they want to deal with. So there was one patient, she was healthy, family history of colon cancer, family history of heart disease, wanted to figure out a way that she could prevent these things from happening to her, which was great.
Yeah.
So she was menopausal. So I put her on hormones because that actually is great for her bones. It also helps prevent colon cancer. We also did a test called TMAO. simple blood test. And what it shows is TMAO in the body is converted into bacteria in the microbiome, converts certain foods into TMAO,
Mm.
transmethylamine oxide. It's egg yolks, it's farm raised fish, it's red meat. When you have TMAO in your microbiome, it increases your risk for stroke and heart attack big time, more than cholesterol. So we found that her TMAO levels were super high. So she cut out red meat, stopped eating egg yolks, stopped eating farm raised fish,
Yeah.
started drinking Guinness Stout because Guinness Stout actually brings TMAO levels down. And so we reduced that level, and she's been doing great and no
Wow.
colon cancer.
That's amazing.
So that's kind
Yeah.
of a look at someone who started out, came to me healthy. She just wanted to stay that way.
Yeah, I think that's so important because in our medical system today, it's not really about prevention, right? It's all about reactive. What do you do once you've been diagnosed or if you feel bad? And, what kind of medication can you take? I feel like we're so used to that and you're so busy with your day to day that you don't think about what do I do to prevent all of that and what can I do to stay healthy?
And we have this McDonald's approach, right? Give me a pill and I'm
Yeah,
going to get
yeah,
out
yeah,
of
yeah.
the way.
And I need it solved right now, right? I think we're just so used to that. And I think, for me, when you're looking online and being with social and everybody's just has these different trends, right? And different fads. And everybody's like leaning into losing weight and Ozempic or like eating that one meal a day, right? You think that it's one size fits all, but I know in integrative health, integrative medicine, it's really about personalization. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, everyone's different. And to not recognize the unique nature of people is a disservice to everyone. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why integrative medicine looks at that person and helps to figure out what is going to help them to heal. And it's going to be different for everybody. So some people want conventional medicine, some people want a different kind of approach, and some people want a mishmash. And that's kind of what I provide.
Yeah,
What's going to
interesting.
work for you?
Yeah, yeah. So for somebody like for myself, right? I have my family history. We have my grandmother had diabetes, my mom had diabetes on like, my grandparents on both sides, and I was gestational twice during my pregnancies, right? So I already seen endocrinologists, but how do I put you into the mix?
Well, someone like me would take a look at you. Number one, I would put one of those little glucose meters on your arm for
Yeah, yeah.
about a month just to see what's going on so that you
Mm,
can see what's going on, like what foods are making your blood sugar go up. It's really good to see. The other thing I would do is put you on berberine,
mm,
which works like Warman, but it's more herbal, and you get it over the counter. And it really makes difference. Good for your brain too.
mm.
And it wouldn't lower your blood sugar so that you wouldn't be getting hypoglycemic, but it may help keep your blood sugar stable.
Okay. And then are things like eating once a day or skipping breakfast? I know good for people like me because I know that when I consult my Chinese doctor, she's like, don't do that. It's not for everybody.
No, I would agree with her. I would put you on a Mediterranean style diet. It works for keeping your blood sugar stable. It's easy to follow. It's so good.
Yeah.
And I would have you do something you can do for the rest of your life. Eating once a day, you can't do that for the rest of your life. Give me a break, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a busy mom. That's not going to work. So,
Yeah, I think like as a mom, it's so hard to just eat once a day. Like when your kids are eating, you also, and then there's like stuff hanging out, and you're like, what else can I take off your plate?
no, no, no. You need to stick with whole foods, whole grains, organics, healthy food. And you're
Mm-hmm.
not overweight. So, I mean, Mediterranean style diet would work perfect for you.
Yeah, yeah. I was actually just watching the Netflix documentary. What was it? Like The Secrets of Blue Zones. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it, but I know about the blue zones for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And so one of the first episodes is about the Okinawa diet, the Japanese diet, right? What do you think about that for longevity?
It's great. I love the blue zones. And I love the way they eat. And they're different ways of eating in each blue zone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah.
And it's been effective.
Yeah, I think that, I think when you were talking about integrative health just now, where you're pairing diet with exercise, can you talk a little bit about that? whereby I think, for us these days, we're always like, what can you do? Like you really, I feel like, hit and like doing CrossFit and all that stuff, right? So you really feel like, okay, I did that workout. Is that something that's good for everybody? Or when I was looking at my body constitution, looking at, from a TCM angle, it was actually like, you need to slow it down a little bit more. You need to be a bit more introspective. And I was then doing more yoga to balance my running.
Here's what you want to take from the blue zones. What those people do is they move for life, right? They walk to
Mhm.
the store, they bicycle. They're not going to the gym and they're not going to CrossFit. They're lifting packages into the house. They garden. They do what you can do for the rest of your life. You are not going to CrossFit for the rest of your life. Now, you may do weights to improve your strength, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what I would suggest is do what makes sense for the rest of your life, not something that's going to give you, a big buzz on exercise. And
Mm.
especially that you're a busy mom. Are you really going to be able to get to the gym like that? Probably not. So do what you can do. So walk to the store, take walks with your kids, do things that are easy that you could continue to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes sense.
It's great, but people get hurts all the time, and I just don't think it makes sense for life.
Yeah, that's so true. I think that before I gave birth to my kids, I used to never get injured. And I never even thought about that. You could do like deadlifts and you can set these targets but after that, my lower back was just never the same. And then once you get injured once, it just keeps happening. Or even like with yoga. I mean, I love yoga, but sometimes it's just you never know if you're overstretching.
Right.
Yeah. So I think for me it's a balance.
Tai Chi is wonderful. You're much less likely to get hurt,
Mhm,
and it's
mhm.
your balance and your muscles. Personally, what I do is I dance. I do West Coast swing. I was doing tango for a while. I was
Yeah.
doing things
Wow.
that were really fun that you would not consider them to be exercise, but they are. And they're so good. They're good for your body and they're really good for your brain. So they found that one of the exercises that reduces the risk of Alzheimer's, like
Mhm.
80%, is ballroom dancing.
Interesting.
So things like that make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And I bet you they do a lot of dancing in the blue zones.
Yeah, I think so. And I think there's that social element to it as well, right? Where people can get together
Absolutely.
and
Yeah, because loneliness is a big deal. It is a huge risk for heart disease. But if you're out there dancing, you're not lonely. And you don't have to
yeah.
talk to anyone. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
So
perfect for like shy people.
what about Tai Chi? I mean, so I, over COVID, got into Tai Chi. It's still, it's slow, but then at the end of it, you somehow feel like there's this sort of like energy slash warmth, after the practice. It's quite interesting. How did you get into and how do the people find a Tai Chi master? It's so intimidating.
Well, my gym has a Tai Chi teacher, and he's great.
That's
You
helpful.
can find him online too. You don't even have to go to a gym. You can just go online. There are people doing Tai Chi teaching online, and a lot of
Hmm.
parks offer Tai
Yeah.
Chi.
Yeah. 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 But it's
And
harder. I'd say it's harder to find. It's harder to find like a Tai Chi master you click with than yoga instructors because there are a ton more yoga instructors than Tai Chi masters out in the world.
well, you got to try them out. I mean, here we're limited, so there's only one. You got to click with them or not.
Yeah, yeah. And Robin, I wanted to touch upon acupuncture. I know that that is also part of integrative medicine. Do you do the acupuncture, or how does it work within the whole practice?
Found a couple people that I really, really like, and that's who I refer people to. And I had a situation during COVID where I lost my voice for 6 months, and I found a great acupuncturist. Thank God for him. He really helped me get my voice back and calm me
Wow,
down.
that's
So
amazing.
yeah, it was great. I always felt good after his sessions.
Yeah.
Then he left me and went to Thailand.
I think that's so interesting because you don't think of acupuncture. I mean, when most people think about acupuncture, they think about pain. I think that's like the most common reasons why people go see acupuncturists, right? So
Yes.
when, voice and acupuncture, it's not something that you would link together, right?
Right. It was very helpful. And I send people there for fertility too. Acupuncture really helps with infertility. It
Mm-hmm.
helps with sleep, anxiety. I mean, it's one of the treatments that they found is the most helpful.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people don't use it more for that because it's very benign and
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah. I think for myself, it was acupuncture. I used to have really bad nasal allergies, and it was really that mix of acupuncture with herbs that helped me get rid of all my antihistamines that were like a daily occurrence for me. It was like morning, night, I had like a pill popping routine. So,
You know what? It really helps is migraines. So we have somebody here that can put like almost like a staple in the ear
yeah.
in the right spot, gets rid of migraines.
So, like, ear seeding is really trending right now as well, right?
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
And weight loss too for appetite suppression. Rather
So,
do that than take Ozempic for God's sakes.
yeah,
So
for sure. I mean, what are your thoughts on Ozempic? I think that, a lot of people are microdosing and, experimenting with that. And I think that there are definitely like benefits, but I'd love to learn more about what you think from your side.
couple things. For people that are obese, that have tried everything, it's amazing. And when you look at the risks versus the benefits, it makes total sense. People that want to lose 10 pounds, it's ridiculous. They shouldn't be doing it because the minute you stop, you'll gain your weight back and you lose muscle. So you'll gain back fat. Years ago, I noticed that for treating diabetes, there was a medicine, Victoza, it's the precursor to semaglutide, Ozempic. And I noticed that it helped with dementia. So I actually started using it to treat people with Alzheimer's, and it really made a difference. Like people were remembering their passwords, their
Wow.
memory was better. It was amazing. And now they're finding it with Ozempic. So it may actually be something that we can use for Alzheimer's. But I
Wow.
think it's a mixed bag because there are side effects.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
know about the risks for thyroid cancer, pancreatitis. I mean, people haven't been using it long enough, but it could be a big problem.
Mm-hmm. And so even at like the microdosing levels, you feel that
We
there
don't
are a
know.
host of, there are a host of side effects that we might not know.
And, the thing is, once you stop, it's going to come on back. So, can you go on microdosing forever? Maybe. I interviewed the guy who invented Manjaro, and that's what he thought. He thought this will be like treating high blood pressure. Your high blood pressure medicine, you'll take your Manjaro, and that's how it's going to work. But it's expensive, and I don't know about the long term side effects.
Yeah.
And it's not changing behavior. Some of these people are still eating poorly, just less.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that a lot of it's really about your daily routine and your habits that you build in.
Yeah. Are they exercising? If they're not exercising, they are really losing muscle.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's some things you have to be really vigilant about if you're taking those meds.
Yeah. I think, one thing that we don't think about these days is we're always looking for these quick fixes when you can really just go back to the basics, right? And look at
So
the whole foods and what you're putting into your body and make those personalized choices to what works, right?
absolutely. So, one of the things that I've become to respect and realize is that the microbiome is everything. It controls so much. It is part of the endocrine system, behavior, depression, anxiety. They're finding that there's certain bacteria that improve your mood.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you eat oranges, for instance, there's a bacteria. I'm going to totally butcher this. Bacterium prosneti, and it increases when you eat oranges and it improves your mood. So we're finding it behaviors ruled by the microbiome so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole gut brain connection's really important.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And what about things like fermented foods?
It's very important because improves your probiotics and it's probiotics in your system. And I think it's so good to get it from food.
I think, in the Asian diets, for example, like there's like the kimchi, there's in the Japanese diets, there's like the fermented soybean natto is really good. People had that for breakfast.
Miso. I mean, it's all
Miso,
really
yeah, exactly. But there's like the fermented tofu and the Chinese diet. So there's like so many things in the Asian diets that have like this natural fermentation already.
yeah, we can learn a lot from that. And I think it's much better to eat it than to take it.
Yeah.
I think people are under they're diluting themselves when they eat crappy food and take a probiotic because they're just killing it.
Yeah.
Just killing the
It doesn't zero
probiotics.
out. Yeah, that's
So
true. And I think a lot of people are taking things, with probiotics or prebiotics like sprinkled on, like your prebiotic soda.
coffee, you
Yeah.
name it.
Yeah, exactly. Coffee or like I've even seen like probiotic instant noodles.
Which can be in there. Give me a break.
Yeah, that's true. But then I think you consume this and you're like, I feel better. Yeah, I took my probiotics. It's better
Right.
than having
Exactly.
nothing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think for younger people, I mean, I only stumbled upon integrative medicine because of my grandmother and actually my aunt as well, where my aunt was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And at the beginning, she only wanted to see her Chinese medicine doctor. And we were like, you're crazy. You can't do that. Like, it's not, I mean, we believe, but it's not going to work. Right. And so we
Right.
finally convinced her to see her, her doctor, and she, got her chemo. But then it was really paired with her Chinese doctor to help her with, she continued with her Tai Chi and Qigong every day, and she took her herbs. And it was really like both where she has recovered and back to work, and, she's living that very normal life again,
That's great.
which was at the time we were like, that's never going to happen. So for younger people, how do you get into even get your foot in the door and think about things like this?
Well, but like I said, you have to find someone who's an integrative practitioner.
Yeah.
You can actually, in the United States, you can find them through Andrew Weil's website, the Integrative Medicine website. They have a list of people that have been trained. So that's one way to do it. Or you can kind of do it yourself in, looking for medicinal mushrooms, products that might work for you. The Nucci products are fantastic. And so you can actually put them into your regimen, whether someone recommends it or not, right? So you do it yourself. And you can do Tai Chi, Qigong. You can, do some of this on your own. And sometimes do it that way.
Yeah. I think that people are more and more so, they want to understand. There's so much that you can read online, right? But it's always really nice to have somebody at the same time guiding you, because you don't know. Sometimes for me, it's like, it's just so much information. It's so nice to have somebody guide you, and then you can sort of know where to navigate with that sea of information, right?
It'd be great. Because like your grandmother, I mean, that was fantastic. She had the best of both worlds, didn't she?
Yeah.
And if you're getting chemo, there's some like maitake mushrooms really help with the side effects and don't interfere with the chemo. But you wouldn't know that unless you went to an integrative medicine person.
Yeah.
Or you
It's
you
true.
just say,
Yeah. And so, I mean, you're obviously trained in both conventional and on the integrative health side. Is there a wide range of different people that practice integrative medicine? I think the question is, some people are like, okay, they're just alternative, and how do you navigate that?
it's really hard. I mean, there are some naturopaths that think that medicine is evil, so they won't let you take them. They'll take you off your meds. That doesn't work for me. Now, there are a couple who are into conventional versus, Eastern type medicine, but it's hard to find and
Yeah.
so frustrating. And, I get calls from people all the time where they would like to either go one way or the other, and their providers don't want them to take them off, tell them not to do it. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why to find someone who's flexible is key.
Yeah, I think that it is really, really difficult to find. Like, even when I think about formulating our Nutri products, right? I think it was really important for us to be classical, Chinese medicine based and know, it's all around Chinese medicine, but at the same time, it's how do you bring the science and evidence base to Chinese medicine, right? So having you and, like Dr. Wendy and Jillian, like having that sort of conventional medicine know-how as well as, Chinese medicine or integrative medicine, that was so important. But it was really, really hard to find people trained in both.
Yeah, I agree.
And
And
to
so,
and to be open to that mindset. Because a lot of
yeah,
people are like, I only do one thing and this one thing works, right?
yeah, that's tough. And to look online, it's so confusing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a Netflix series, I think it's on Netflix, apple cider vinegar. Are you aware of it? I mean, that's scary stuff. I'm sorry. So
Yeah.
frightening.
Yeah, I haven't finished, but I mean, I'm on like episode 2 and it's really scary that the types of things and that sort of pull that people have because of their personalities, right?
Yeah, I'm dealing with that now in somebody who made some very bad choices based on the thinking that she could figure it out herself. So she has metastatic melanoma now. Thought she could cure it with a diet, the
Yeah.
apple cider vinegar all the way, man. She's gonna die. It's just what's gonna happen. And there is really good medicine out there for people with metastatic or with melanoma if you can catch it early. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So you got to be careful and
yeah,
smart.
yeah.
And medicine is not evil. Doctors are not evil. There's a lot of good stuff out there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Both thyroidism and you need thyroid medicine. Take it. Don't think you're going to cure it yourself with herbs. I mean, I've seen that happen over and over. And, people can die of hypothyroidism.
Mm-hmm,
Thyroid
mm-hmm.
medicine out there is good.
Yeah, yeah. But it's really how you pair the two together, right?
Exactly. And if you want to go with, compounded thyroid, I do that. It works. It's good because I used to use armor thyroid, which came from pigs, but it
Mm.
was just too variable. So now I get it compounded.
Okay. Yeah, I think that it's
And you have
for
to
people
know.
they don't realize, right? Because they have their conventional way, they have their conventional medicine doctor who they trust, right? And to make that leap and to realize whether that integrated medicine doctor is, conventionally trained as well, that can help their journey is, I think that is the most difficult part, to make sure you find somebody that fits you, that is well trained, that is not just going to go on the completely other end of just, alternative, right?
And I mean, it really becomes a mess when you get menopausal. You'll see with hormones.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.
People that say, oh, they're evil, they're going to give you cancer. Well, they don't. I mean, they're not evil. They're very helpful. There's a lot of pluses. There are some
Mhm.
minuses. You have to know what they are.
Yeah.
So,
And what about I think you talked about the fertility journey, right? What about for women who want to get pregnant? Do they come see you for
oh, yeah. And that's when I send them to the acupuncturist. There's some that's what they do. That's their major thing,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
helping with fertility. And it works so well. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, I've been successful with that.
And so basically so you're pairing acupuncture and you also help with like the food recommendations and the exercise
Oh,
recommendations
yeah.
overall, right? And then also on the herbal side as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I don't do much with herbal and infertility. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of try to stay away from that. I mean, they need the vitamins, their prenatal vitamins, but beyond
Yeah.
that, I don't think it's a good idea just because you don't want to mess with that,
Mm-hmm.
causing any
Mm-hmm.
birth defect, anything. That's
Yeah.
why acupuncture is beautiful for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love acupuncture. I've been recently doing some facial acupuncture as well. That's been really, really
Yeah,
helpful.
it looks so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank
It's
you. I
really
feel like
is.
yeah, I met a mom that was telling me that she was like, it's better than Botox. And
It
no, I've
is.
never tried Botox, but and needles scare me, but facial acupuncture was actually really relaxing. And I find that it's been working so far for me.
Oh, yeah, you get the right person, works great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, Raman, I wanted to talk about longevity a bit more, right? So, out in Asia, I think a lot of people have been taking NMN supplements, and I know in the States, people are taking NAD plus, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, um, first of all, longevity has a couple parts to it. One is genetic. So the people that are living into their hundreds probably have a genetic boost there. I mean, you're not going to live to be 100 if you don't have the genetic makeup to do that.
Yeah,
But certain things will get you there.
yeah.
And yeah, the supplements are all well and good. I don't know how much they help. It's kind of like resveratrol, right? Resveratrol is supposed to help your heart.
Yeah.
But it looks like to get enough, you'd have to drink like a case of wine a day. So that's not gonna work. So
Yeah.
these supplements, I don't know. There's one doctor who talks about taking a cancer drug called rapamycin
Mm-hmm.
to help with longevity. That doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Again, what do you do for the rest of your life? And it's the Mediterranean style diet, it's exercise, it's what the Blue Zones people are doing with community, spirituality.
Mm.
If you look at people that make it, like the woman that made it to 120, she wasn't taking supplements. She was actually
That's
she
interesting.
was enjoying her
Not popping
life.
her NMN pills.
No, she wasn't. So, um, yeah, I think that longevity is more than supplements. It's a whole mindset.
Yeah. And then how do you think at a younger age that we build that sort of mindset into place? Because I remember when I was in my 30s, so I just turned 41, and I think that in your 40s, you're like, okay, now I'm going to think about that sort of longevity. But in my 30s, I was like, I'm not going to think about that. I mean, I feel young. And then yeah. So how do you build that into your routine? And do you see
Again,
that
it's
more in young people today?
no, not really. I think it's eating healthy. Again, I mean, I sound like a broken record, but the Mediterranean style diet is the best. Regular exercise and doing things that stimulates your brain.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that, but when you say eating healthy, actually, it's a lot harder sometimes than, because you might think something's healthy at the grocery
True.
store and it's labeled healthy, and they're different. I remember when it was sugar is the enemy. Now it's dairy's the enemy and fat's the enemy. How do you decide, right? And then there's all this packaging and nutritional labeling. It's a lot harder to eat healthy when sometimes you actually think you're eating healthy, but you're actually not.
That's why whole foods are the key. Just stay away from the package. Stay
Mm,
on the outside of the store and stick with whole foods and try to go organic as often as you can. Because
yeah,
now it's not just the food, it's packaged in the plastic that
yeah.
can be a problem. And you can combat microplastics by eating healthy produce, vegetables, fruit, that sort of thing. That will
Hmm.
protect you. Oh, you have
Yeah,
plastic in your body. And we all must. And lean protein.
yeah.
That's the stay away from packaged processed foods. Period.
Yeah, for
Hard
sure.
to do, but it can be done. Or plan a go eat your own stuff.
Yeah, I think that would be key. That would be ideal.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
get your kids some help too. They love to garden.
Yeah, that's true. I think my son threw out some he wants to plant an apple tree. So
Good.
we're patiently waiting. He just threw out some seeds the other day.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Is there anything that I haven't touched upon that, you think that yeah, that you want to share today?
Well, one other thing, anxiety, depression, big deal is a big deal. A lot of people are anxious these days.
Yeah.
And once again, it comes back to the microbiome and the gut brain connection. And if it's hard to impress people that the healthier you eat, the more happy and composed you will be. It's really hard to get that through to people, but that is key.
Yeah.
Don't forget, eat healthy, and you'll feel better physically and mentally.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I think that you don't really think of, when you have a bad day, sometimes you just want carbs and you want to eat all that bad food to make you feel better.
Right. And sleep is important also. People really need to prioritize sleep.
Yeah, that's
They keep thinking they'll be okay if, because they have all this work to do, but prioritizing it is super important. Again, longevity as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think having that good sleep. And do you tell your patients, what about wearables? Yes. Like I like some wearables, and then sometimes my wearable stress, like I had a Whoop band to track my sleep, and then it stressed me out. I had to like put it aside. Like, what's your view on wearables?
I like them, but I really got pissed off at this the other day. So, and I'll take it off when I travel because everything is so screwed up. And I've decided that's just too stressful. But I
Yeah.
think it's helpful to gauge what.
Well, I guess then it's, it really comes back to personalization, right? I mean, I have friends that love their Oura Ring. I don't have one. I've been thinking about it for years, and I haven't gone one because I'm scared that I'm just going to be obsessed with it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can always take it off and leave it.
I know, but it's such a big thing when I was like, okay, Whoop band. I think, after 2 months you have to go, because I was just like checking my sleep. I was on my phone more than ever because I was obsessed with, am I back on the green bar yet?
Yeah, well, you don't want the ring then.
Let's see. I'm still thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that at the end of the day, I was talking to another friend the other day. She goes, why don't you just, listen to your body? Like, well, that's also true.
That may be a good idea.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much today. And I wanted to end with, what's your secret to looking and feeling your best?
Again, eating healthy, getting enough sleep, dealing with my stress. There's, a couple supplements I take, vitamin D, magnesium. I do hormones. I think that they're really for me. And yeah, that's it. And thyroid,
Yeah. So keep
because I
it
need it.
simple. Yeah. 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 Thank you for sharing. And Robin, for people who want to follow you, where can they find you?
I have a website, triunemed.com, triunemed.com. And I have a book that they might like called Heal Now, Time to Unsick Yourself, that I'll put the link I'll give it to you and you can put it on your website.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank
Thanks,
you. Bye. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Nucci podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, we'd love your support. Leave us a rating, drop us a review, or share it with someone who'd enjoy it too. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.